right, so if I take the lungs and put them here, ooh, then the bladder goes down here. The intestine, that goes whirly swirly. Hi! Welcome back to the Science Lab. I'm here with my buddy, Irvin. He is really cool because you have all kinds of body parts that you get to play around with and piece back together. I'm also reading up on the body because the body is an amazing thing. You wouldn't believe how hard it works to keep us alive and to keep us moving and thinking. It's like a super machine. Hey, you know what? Yup. I think we need to do some exciting science experiments about the body. What do you say? All right, let's get ready. All right, let me show you the supplies we're gonna need for our experiments. Today, we're gonna learn about the lungs and the heart. I know, it's amazing. So, for the first experiment, we're gonna make a lung. You're gonna need a plastic bottle. This is just a regular plastic water bottle. You're gonna need some Play-Doh. You're gonna need a bendy straw. This is just one of the plastic ones that you drink from and throw away. You're gonna need 2 balloons. You can choose any color, but I chose pink. And you're gonna need some elastics. Now I got these just from the dollar store, but you can use any rubber bands. You're also gonna need some tape and scissors. All right, for our second experiment, we're gonna make an inflatable heart. I know, it just keeps getting better and better. For this experiment, you're gonna need a plastic Ziploc bag. This is just a small sandwich bag. You're gonna need red and blue pipe cleaner. You're gonna need red marker, a red and blue straw, tape, and scissors. You're gonna need a glue gun, and because we're using hot glue, you also need an adult. Our last experiment, we're gonna do another heart experiment. For this one, you need a glass mason jar, 2 balloons, again I chose pink, 2 bendy straws, food coloring, I'm going to use red, a funnel or something to pour your water in to help you pour. You'll also need some water. And you're going to need a tray, something so your area doesn't get messy, because this one could get messy. All right, go grab your supplies and meet me back here for some awesome experiments. Are you ready for our first experiment? I know I am. All right, we're going to start with a model of our lung. Lungs. What do our lungs do? Do you know? I'll give you a hint. Breathe. Very good. The lungs help us breathe. Lungs are essential organs to all mammals because without it, we wouldn't be able to breathe. The lungs are part of our breathing system, so we can breathe. New air comes in and old air goes out. Ventilation is the movement of air into and out of our lungs. So that's called ventilation. Then there's gas exchange. This is where gases are exchanged between tiny sacs called alveoli and the blood. So air moves in and out of our lungs, and that allows us to breathe. Let's make a diagram. We got our plastic bottle. We got 2 balloons. We got our bendy straw, our elastics, tape and scissors, our Play-Doh, our parent, and our protection. We are ready to go. So you're going to want to get an adult's help for this part. We're going to take our water bottle and your scissors, and you're going to cut your bottle down to about half the size. My water bottle still has some water in it. So now it should look like this. There's a hole here, there's a hole here. All right, next you're gonna take your balloon. You're gonna tie a knot in one end of the balloon. And then on the other end, you're gonna cut a hole. You're gonna go right across. So, there's my knot, there's my hole. All right, you're gonna take your water bottle, and you're gonna take your balloon, you're gonna open it up, and you're gonna put it over top of your water bottle at the end. You know, it's just like science to encounter a problem. My water bottle is too flimsy. I can't get the balloon over top, so I'm gonna switch to a Gatorade bottle. Same thing, clear plastic bottle. I cut it in half. See? Got the mini Gatorade bottles. Now I can put my balloon over top. That's the thing with science. Sometimes you encounter a problem and you gotta think about how you can problem solve through this problem. Trust me, real scientists, they encounter problems all the time. But the best scientists figure out a way to fix it. So you have your water bottle, or Gatorade bottle like I use, and your balloon on top. For the next part, you're going to need your second balloon, and a straw, and you're going to need an elastic. So you're going to put the straw in your balloon, and you don't want to put it all the way to the bottom. You want to be able to have airflow. So hold it and see if it can blow up a bit. If you can blow it up a bit, that's perfect. Next, you're going to take your elastic, and you're going to wrap it really tight around the balloon and your straw. You might have to bend your straw a bit to get the elastic over. That's okay. You want that elastic nice and tight so air can't get out. And then just fix your straw after. So it should look like this. Remember, you want to make sure it inflates a little bit. Perfect. Now, you're going to take your water bottle with your balloon on the end. You're going to take this part and you're going to stick it inside. You don't want it to touch the bottom. Then you're going to wrap some Play-Doh around to secure it. Now you don't want your balloon touching the bottom of your container. And you also don't want to bend the straw. So I'm going to stick some Play-Doh and make like a mold that'll hold my straw in place. If you don't have Play-Doh, you could also use tape. You just want to make sure it's nice and secure. Play-Doh is just so easy to form, and I had some in my classroom left over from this year. So your creation should look like this. You've got your end here, your balloon and your straw in the middle, and your Play-Doh to hold it all together. Now that we have our lung, let's see what happens. There are two ways to do this experiment. The first one, you have to look really close. We're going to pull on the bottom of this balloon and see what happens to the balloon inside. It inflates a little bit. Now, remember, our two balloons are not attached. Remember, we didn't attach them. What happens when I blow into the straw and then suck it back in? Let's look. When I blow and suck into the one balloon through the straw, the second balloon moves as well. How crazy is this? I wonder why this happens. You know what we need? Our answer book. All right, answer book. What happens to our lung diagram? Why, when we pull down a little bit, it inflates the balloon, but even more so when we blow, it has both balloons working at the same time. I'm only blowing into the one balloon. Why did the second one move up and down as well? I hope you can tell us some answers. Are you ready? Let's see what it has to say today. We already know that lungs are an essential organ. They help us breathe. We learned about ventilation, the movement of the air into and out of the lungs, and that there's also gas exchange, where the gases are exchanged between tiny sacs called alveoli and the blood. So those are the two functions of the lungs. They help us breathe, and they help us exchange blood and oxygen around our body. Let's learn more about the lung. Under the lungs is the diaphragm, which is a muscular sheet separating the lungs from the abdomen. Your diaphragm moves up and down to increase the space in your chest, like a balloon at the bottom of the model. So this balloon is like our diaphragm. So as we breathe, which would be this part of our lung breathing in and out, our diaphragm moves to create more space for the air. So when you breathe, look at your chest. Do you see how it goes up and down? That's your diaphragm creating more room for the air. Inside, the lungs are a network of tubes which allow air to pass through. Air is warmed, moistened, and filtered as it travels through the mouth and nasal passages. It then passes through a network of tubes, eventually reaching the tiny sacs called alveoli, which are where a gas exchange occurs. So, how do lungs really work? This fake lung demonstrates how our lung works. Air is taken in through the mouth and nose, which this piece is considered our mouth and nose. Passes down the windpipe, which would be this piece, and into our lungs. The diaphragm at the bottom of our chest moves up and down to create more space. As we breathe out, the diaphragm raises. The knotted balloon represents the diaphragm, and the balloon inside the container is the lung. That is how lung works. It even sounds like a lung. This was an awesome experiment. I learned so much about the lungs. You know what? Let's learn about the heart next. For our inflatable heart craft, you're going to need a sandwich bag, red marker, red and blue pipe cleaner, red and blue straw, scissors, tape, hot glue, and an adult. Let's get ready to learn something about the heart. The first thing you want to do is you're going to take your bag. You're going to take your red marker. I'm using some permanent marker because it's easier. And you're going to color the inside of your bag red. Turn around, color the other side. Your hands might get a little messy, that's okay. Color the inside of your bag red. After your bag is all colored red, you're going to take your 2 pipe cleaners. We'll start with red first. You want to cut 3 little pieces off of it. So you have 1 long piece and 3 smaller pieces. These are going to be to make our veins, so you're going to wrap them around. And now veins aren't straight, so you want to have a little bit of curves to them. So here's one. You're going to do the same thing with the blue one. You're going to cut off 3 small pieces. So you're left with 1 long piece and 3 little pieces. And same thing, you're just going to wrap them around and bend them a bit because veins aren't straight. We'll find out later why they're red and blue. So now I have my red one and my blue one done. Next, make sure you have your adult to help you. You're going to take your bag and you're going to put some glue on the top of it. And you're going to glue down one of your veins. Now the glue is hot. You definitely want an adult to help you. It's too hot for you guys to handle, but an adult is able to deal with the temperature. Glue down your little sides as well. It's okay if the glue gets on your hands a little bit. You can take it off later. There we go. So here I have my blue one on already. It's on the outside of my bag. Next, you're going to add your red vein. Again, I always start with some glue on the bag. For the main piece, I stick it on. And then I work around adding more glue. Make sure you have an adult help you because this glue is hot. And then you're going to let that dry for a few minutes. Next, you're going to take your bag, open it up, you're going to stick your 2 straws side by side in a corner. And then close it up around your straws, just leaving enough open for the straws. Now this experiment is to see how our heart beats. You're going to blow into the straw and see what happens. Do you see how it goes puffy and then back in? And watch the veins. This beats just like our real heart, pumping air in and out, creating new oxygen. But how does the heart really work? You know what we need? Our answer book. All right, answer book, what answers do you have for us today? Well, the heart is a muscle. Your heart is really a muscle. It's located a little to the left of the middle of your chest, and it's about the size of your fist. But the heart muscle is special because of what it does. The heart sends blood around your body. The blood provides your body with oxygen and nutrients that it needs. It also carries away waste. The heart is sort of like a pump, or 2 pumps in one. The right side of your heart receives blood from the body and pumps it into the lungs. So our heart, when it pumps blood into our lungs. The left side of the heart does the exact opposite. It receives blood from the lungs and it pumps it out into the body. That's pretty cool. But why do we have 2 different pipe cleaners? And 2 different straws. Why red and why blue? The reason for the different pipe cleaners is because your heart has 1 cardiac vein, that's the blue one, and 1 coronary artery, that's the red one. The reason is to be able to recreate the 2 ventricles. The hot glue melts and merges the 2 sides together, creating the different ventricles. So there's 2 ventricles in our heart. And they're made because of the cardiac vein and the coronary artery. All right, we've learned about our lungs. We've learned about our heart. But I'm ready for one more experiment. Another one about our heart. Let's get ready. For our last experiment, you're going to need some water, a clear jar. I'm using a glass mason jar. Food coloring. I'm using red. A funnel. 2 balloons. 2 bendy straws. Some scissors. And something to not make a mess. Grab your supplies and let's do our last experiment on the heart. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your mason jar. If you need a funnel, put your funnel over it. And you're going to pour some water. About half full should be good. Next, you're going to add in some food coloring if you want. You don't have to add in food coloring, but it just helps you see the water travel easier. Then you're going to stir it up. If it's not red enough, add a bit more food coloring till you get it the color you like. Perfect. All right, our jar is filled with red water. Next up, you want your balloon. You're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut the balloon so you have two pieces, the end piece and the middle piece. You're going to take your balloon and put it over top of your mason jar, just like that. Now you're going to need your two straws. I'm going to use my red and blue straws that I used from my heart inflation craft because I wanted to represent the veins again and the coronary artery. You're going to make really small holes in the top. Just big enough to put your straws through. And you're going to stick your straws in. So it should look like this. Next, you're going to take your other piece of balloon and you're going to wrap it around one end of the straw. And you're going to tape it into place. This is so that the water doesn't go out of this end. So wrap and tape. Now this is where you're going to want your tray. And you're going to gently push down on the balloon and see what happens. Oh, and you also want to bend your straws. Forgot about that. What is happening? Wonder what's going on. So what does this mean for our science experiment? We made a simple pump that moved water from the jar through the straws and into the pan. The water is like our blood. The straw are our ventricles and atrium. And the pan is like our body. So as we pump, the blood is squirting out and going into our body, where it needs to go. The cut end of the balloon worked as a valve or a gate to stop the water from going back down the straw. Your heart pumps blood into your body through your arteries in a similar way. Human hearts have 4 separate chambers inside. This pump shows how one chamber and its valve works. That is amazing! Today, we've learned about the lungs and the heart, and we made 3 science experiments. We made our lung model. We made our inflatable heart. And we made our model heart that actually pumps our blood. And while we had fun doing these experiments, we learned a whole lot about our body. I don't know what it is about science, but it amazes me every time. I think it's because I learned so much and I have so fun while doing it. You know what? Science is the greatest thing ever because it gets you thinking, gets you wondering, gets you imagining new possibilities. Always be a thinker because thinkers change the world.